was just using one arpeggio, the same arpeggio over all the chords in Blue Bossa. So there is this chord, this voicing, and also arpeggio that we can use over pretty much any chord except the diminished chords. It doesn't really work over diminished chords. So what is this amazing arpeggio? Well, it's a major 7 flat 5 arpeggio. So let's say, for example, you have a C major 7 arpeggio. If I just play flat 5 instead, it's kind of that inner urge. It makes me think of that tune, Inner Urge. Right off the bat, some people are protesting and saying, well, it's not really a flat 5, it's a sharp 11. I guess you could make that argument. In theory, it is a sharp 11 because of how scales and chords are constructed, but it's easier to think of it as a flat 5. So I'm gonna call it a flat 5, and if you have a problem with that and your life is difficult because of that, I suggest you go out and listen to some birds or something, maybe. It's a flat 5. What's special about this voicing or this arpeggio? You could play it as a voicing, right? Or arpeggio. Well, it could be derived from 2 different scales. It could be derived from G major, I guess, which means that it kind of works over all the modes of that scale. Or it could be derived from A melodic minor, which means that it also works over all the chords from A melodic minor, which pretty much gives us every chord except diminished chords. Now, to prove my point, I'm just gonna make a C pedal here. Let's say I make a C pedal. If I play it here, so that's an E flat major 7 flat 5 voicing. That gives me a Dorian sound. Or melodic minor, we don't know. But it's a C minor 6/9, I guess. If I play it here, gives me a Lydian sound. Or I could play it here, minor 7 flat 5. Or maybe an altered. Which means I could play these arpeggios to create those different sounds. Like if I want to create a Dorian sound. Right? So all you need to know, we don't need to get into the theory behind it too much, why it works. You just need to know that it works. And you need to know figure out a way to find which one works where. So if I start on the minor 3rd of a chord, I get a minor 6/9. I'm not thinking too much about what the actual chord is. I just know that it works. So let's say we apply this now to Blue Bossa. We need a C minor chord. We need an F minor, D minor 7 flat 5, G altered, C minor, E flat minor, A flat. I'm gonna treat that as an altered. You could treat it other ways. I'm gonna treat it like an altered. To D flat major 7, D minor 7 flat 5, G7 altered, C minor. So I'll make a little bass line here. minor, F minor, D minor 7 flat 5 is the same, G altered, then E flat minor, so C minor there, F minor, so F minor, 6/9, same voicing for D minor 7 flat 5, the altered here. You could add the bass notes just for, if you wanted to, just to hear it better. This is the one that it's a little bit questionable, because the E flat minor, you don't really want to play that C note there, because 2-5-1 is a subdominant going to a dominant to a tonic. That's what a sub 2-5-1 is, right? So you want that D flat. When you're not playing the D flat, instead of playing a C, you're kind of abandoning the 2-5-1 feeling and that motion, guide tone motion. But for the sake of argument, we are going to play this voicing here anyway, just because I want to prove that you can use the same voicing over the whole tune. So ideally, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that voicing there, but just for this case, we would. Then A flat altered, going to D flat major. Interestingly, it's just a half step up. So the A flat altered here, D flat major 7 there, and then D minor 7 flat 5, G altered, C. Okay, now I'll play them as arpeggios instead of as chords. I really encourage you to do it from the top note as well, going down. I've noticed that when I ask my students to play arpeggios from bottom and up, they can do it, but when I ask them to play the top note first and go down, all of a sudden they're in trouble for some reason. So also practice them descending. You can do this sweeps here, right? If you're into that kind of stuff. It's pretty sweet. So we need more than just one place to play them. It's not enough to just play them in one position, right? So for example, if I take the E flat major 7 flat 5 arpeggio and play it here, it's pretty. I can do this. So I'm playing, sliding from the D to the E flat. This one I find extra interesting to start on the top. Where is it? See, I really have to think here. What are the notes exactly? Let me try that over this little vamp here. Messed up there a bit. So I have to do it again. Maybe try to make some music. Okay, so interesting shapes, interesting sounds. Now also maybe look at some more inversions of this chord. So this was just a major 7, flat 5 voicing in closed position, root position. So maybe do some drop voicings, maybe this one. Let's try this same voicing and see if I can move it around the whole tune. Sorry, I messed up there. So again, we have inversions, right? So this inversion is, if you think about it, this. So if all this seems kind of strange to you, I mean, if you think about this chord, you probably played it, right? That's just a C minor 6, 9. Probably play this G altered. Well, there it is. It's that, say, it's just a different way of organizing the notes, right? It's so if you think about it like that, it's none of this is really that out there, as it were. There's one more inversion. This one. Third inversion of the major 7 flat 5 chord sounds and looks like this. So if you thought this was too easy, maybe this voicing is new to you. I like it. So maybe you've never played this as a G altered. So you have to be a little bit careful because you get this flat 9 interval, which is kind of strange, but why not? It's also an interesting voicing because you have the guide tones here and the extensions below the guide tones. So that was for you more advanced players. So now, the question always comes up, why are we practicing this? If you follow my videos, you know that I like to talk about why we're practicing something. So this is not supposed to replace any other, it's not like this is a shortcut. I could have named the video the only arpeggio you need to play over Blue Bossa, but that's not what I'm about. This is another technique that you can add to your vocabulary that you already have. But what happens when you do this is that you start to kind of noticing some interesting notes. Those kind of arpeggios kind of define the sound that you're going for. So that's all it is. It's a different sound. And So it's good for your ears. By practicing this, you should always, anything you practice, you should also do it, try to sing it. Try to sing these arpeggios. It's very, very good exercise to kind of hear the important notes. So this is not, again, it's not supposed to replace anything else. It's just a different way of practicing. And it's an interesting and fun technique that you can use one shape over a whole tune like that. It makes you explore the fretboard in maybe perhaps a different way that you haven't explored before. So that's the idea. Also, for my patrons, I'm gonna live stream on the last Saturday of this month. There's info about that on the Patreon page, and I'm gonna try to do that. So every last Saturday of each month, I'm gonna do a live stream for you guys. Then when I hit 10,000 subscribers on here, I'm gonna live stream for everybody as well. That's the plan I have now. So with that, I'll leave you for now, and I shall see you next time.